I'm back, and I got 5 more bad habits that you need to break yourself of if you want to speculate like a pro. Let's get right back into it. Ineffective speculators. Another thing they do, they buy cheap stocks because they assume everything under 10 is a takeover target. If you watch my show, you know how wrong this is. We don't speculate on takeovers unless the company has good fundamentals. Hey, you know one reason why we do that? Do you know that another company is unlikely to buy a really crummy company? Think about it. Oh yeah, that'll really send your stock up to buy some really crummy company. So check the balance sheet first to see how the cash flow is. Look to see how much debt the company has. If you really want to speculate like a pro, look for a buyer. See if anybody out there has been acquiring similar stocks. Look for consolidation in the stock sector. A cheap speculative stock might have great fundamentals and still not be a takeover target because nobody's looking to buy. We just came out of a spell where there wasn't a lot of M&A activity. So speculating on a cheap stock as a takeover candidate would have been moronic. That was 6. 7th, bad habit of miserable speculators. They will forget to sell into strength. Remember, bulls make money, bears make money. Unkosher, unhollowed pigs get slaughtered! 10% is 10%. It doesn't matter if it's only 20 or 30 cents. You need to take profits when you get them. Don't just hold on all the way through. You take some off the table. Don't ride the lucid up from under 10 to 100 without taking something off the table. I know that in most cases the stock will keep moving. You're probably kicking. You say, Cramer, if I had just held on to all of it, how much money I've made. I know I told you that you can't cash in your position at the first good move. I'm a nuanced guy. Don't sell everything into strength. Just take something off the table. A lot of common sense here. This applies to everything, but especially the speculative stocks where the odds are good that they'll give back all the gains they make after enough time. The 8th habit of ineffective speculators is really worse than a habit. It's frankly a lack of virtue. Bad speculators aren't virtuous. They aren't patient. The stocks you'll be speculating in are going to hang out at the bottom for long periods of time. If you get frustrated and sell off one of these stuck-in-the-mud stocks because you can't stand waiting for the mud to get unstuck, you're going to miss every big move that might come your way. Almost every stock has its day if you wait long enough. Remember, I don't advise buy and hold. But please, don't come to me and say, Jim, I bought this stock a week ago, it's done nothing. It's costing me a fortune. It's going to take more than a week. It might take more than a month. It's worth the wait if you can be there for a move from $5 to $50. The 9th habit, bad habit, exhibited by sloppy speculators is they attempt to day trade. Oh man, how hard is this? Understand these stocks are too volatile and too easily manipulated to really get an edge on them. Don't trade them just to capture a 2% gain or avoid a 2% loss. It's really not worth it. And they're much harder to game out than more expensive stocks with more shares outstanding that can't be easily manipulated by a handful of buyers or sellers. Finally, number 10, the worst one. The worst mistake you can make as a speculator is to not buy a stock just because nobody has ever heard of it. So many people do this. It's really upsetting. You're looking for stocks that nobody's ever heard of. That's it. Nobody ever heard of that Metarex, and then the stock tripled. Speculation may be about understanding the crowd, but it definitely isn't about just going with the crowd, or even worse, looking to the mob for validation. If there's already a lot of buzz surrounding a stock, it's very possible that you're late to the game and will lose money. I'm telling you now, these are the bad habits of bad speculators. I need you to be a good speculator. You don't do anything on this list, and I got to tell you, you'll be better than 99% of the speculators out there. Oh, and while I'm at it, here's the 3 commandments for me. Always buy in small increments. Don't be afraid to chase momentum when you're speculating. And finally, and gloriously, remember to sell! Sam in New York, what do you got for me?
Booyah, Jim. I love your show.
Thank you.
I got just a quick question for you.
Sure.
I'm wondering where you go to look for inspiration when you want to speculate.
All right. I think that's a great question. the first list that I go to, and I go there every day, and I don't understand why everybody doesn't read this paper. I'm not paid to say that. I'm not paid to say anything. But I go to Investors Business Daily, and I go there because they cover the NASDAQ like no other paper, and because they have all of the good-looking charts. Now, I'm not a chartist. I'm a fundamentalist. But a lot of times, for instance, I have been after people to own healthcare stocks. Now, you could argue you heard that second on CNBC because Investors Business Daily's been after it for a long time. But I go there and they have the real volume. They show you the real stocks that are moving up, and they get rid of a lot of the stocks that the Journal and the Times has. They have a lot of names. That's my number one way. I'm going to give you another way too. Much more difficult. I like to see what the regional brokerage houses are recommending. A lot of these very interesting, intuitive surgical-like companies are heartland companies, and they're only followed by small Midwest brokers. A lot of the really interesting biotech companies that I have found are only followed by boutique houses, and the reason is simple. They don't do enough volume that the big firms, the Goldmans and the Morgans, can make it back in trading. And since Elliott Spitzer, they can't get the kickback from corporate finance. That's now illegal. The bottom line is you got to look where nobody else is. Investors Business Daily and a lot of firms that don't get a lot of comment or talk about nationally or on these networks. Let's go to Eve in Florida. Hey, Eve, how are you?
Hello, Jim. A big booyah from all your fans at the Kennedy Space Center. We love your show.
You're kidding me! Hey, congratulations on the successful launch!
Oh, it was beautiful.
Oh, that's sensational! I gotta tell you, I went down there to watch a launch twice in my life. One of the most, actually, really just thrilling. Just a thrilling thing. Anyway, so tell me what's up.
All right. Well, you caveat speculative investments as not suitable for retirement portfolios.
Right.
But my question is, what about in a Roth IRA? Is there an acceptable level of...
No, Eve, Eve, I got to tell you, it always comes back to this, because I know I scream, I shout, I'm an emotional guy, but boy, when it comes to this retirement money, I always look for someone more conservative than I am, and I never find them. Eve, Roth, 401k, anything involving retirement, we never speculate. See, this is what gives me the opportunity to be aggressive, because I know that the money that we're playing with can be lost, and it will not be the end of a person's existence. The bottom line is we can speculate as long as it's money that we're willing to lose. Please, don't assume under 10's a takeover target. Don't forget to take something off the table. Be a little patient. Day trading, that's for the birds. Buy stocks before the buzz starts. Commandments, buy in small increments. Don't be afraid to chase momentum when you're speculating only. And of course, remember to sell. Stick with Cramer to try to make more money.